Hello again, beautiful souls. It's me. Here once more with an Ankara messages. Messages of the soul friend. Um, I've been totally prompted and pushed to keep coming with these messages. And this is one I've been resisting for quite a while. And again, it's like it's just been feeling that urge, just like go, go, go again all morning. So I just sat and meditated. And I said, okay, work with me. Give me guidance. Like, do you really want me to talk on this topic about, false positivity and relationships and the problems they can cause? And the surrender and release card popped out. Um, and again, like, this is a beautiful, beautiful card. And if you look at this image, you know, it's all this green, beautiful green healing energy. And you'll notice that, look how strong her arms are. Look how muscular. Like, you can really see the strength in this woman. And again, I don't see cards as gender specific. This can apply to any males watching as well, you know. But if you look, her face is kind of more mask like, and her hair is flowing across her throat. Sorry, I'm going off the camera. Um, I'm total technophobe, don't know what I'm doing. So again, this speaks to me about, there's the jar she's holding, the strength that she has in her arms, the water leaking. This is like tears washing stresses and, pressures away. We spoke before about how important our tears are and what a wonderful machine our body is and how it can, it uses tears. We cry for a very good reason. It helps release, surrender, and release. And again, the water leaking from this, the water energy is associated very much with our emotions. And again, water flows, and our emotions are meant to flow. And you'll also notice, when water meets obstacles, like a boulder, big rock in a stream, water will flow around. It doesn't stop, it doesn't close up and go, my way is blocked, and have a total meltdown. Water just goes, a hurdle, a challenge. I'll just flow around. So again, this card speaks deeply to me about, you know, surrendering and releasing, and that the tears can wash away the burdens of the past, the burdens that it has taken all of this strength and muscle to build in order to carry these burdens, but that we are now freeing, we are now healing all of this green healing energy. We are healing from the wounds of the past. And we are gaining this awareness, this enlightenment. Like, see this divine light coming in and our angelic wings coming in. It's that awareness of you are more than who you think you are. You are more than somebody who's just been surviving and barely getting through life. You are so much more. And again, the hair coming across her throat speaks to me of blocking the throat chakra. And I see the blue here. Again, blue is associated with the throat chakra and communication. So this card speaks to me about there's lots of healing occurring for you right now, and for me, for all of us. But we need to speak. We need to voice our emotions, our water energy. We need to allow it to flow. We need to speak our truths, and not in an aggressive way. I saw one of those, I don't know if they're memes, these images on Facebook that go around with positive messages on them. And there was one about, your boundaries don't have to be an electric fence that just blast people off their feet. We can set boundaries for ourselves through love and kindness. We don't have to be getting aggressive. We don't have to roar our emotions at anybody. But it is important that we now start to align with ourselves, allow what the guidance that's coming to us, because there's so many people getting guidance right now. Trust it and communicate it. Stop being afraid to hide. Surrender and release and trust in the divine light energy. That there are so many people out there that if you share the things that have been on your mind, if you share the wonderings you've been having, not in an aggressive, come here, I get you in a headlock kind of way, you have to listen to me. But if you just have the courage to share those thoughts and feelings that have been coming to you. Because I'm hearing about so many people experiencing these things, but being afraid to speak about it for fear of judgment. But it's happening to so many. And all of these people I'm speaking to or have been speaking to and so on, the ripple goes out. Everybody's coming back and saying, oh my God, me too. When somebody finds the courage to just come out with, do you know what I've been wondering about lately? I know it sounds weird, but I've been wondering about this and why do we do that? And, this kind of came to me and what do you think? It's amazing the conversations that can come from that and can grow and evolve just from being authentic and being truthful, speaking your own truth, allowing your healing to flow like the water, letting the past and the burdens and the fears wash away. And again, I'm noticing, being drawn to the marble, the background in this card, the black marble. Marble is a very hard substance. So again, for me, that's assuring me that the past is in the past. The darkness is behind us now. The worst has been overcome. You've got your spiritual muscles now. The strength is there. The green healing energy. So I don't know why I'm getting an image of Popeye and the spinach. And again, the green frequency, the plants. I've spoke about the plants in another video. The plant frequencies are here to heal us. They are also of the green vibrations. And again, we all know about Popeye and his spinach and his muscles. The plants are also frequencies, very healing frequencies. So we have the plants, we have the angels, we have so many other wonderful frequencies, all on standby, wanting to assist us on our journeys, wanting to help us feel better. But we have to start taking responsibility for ourselves. We have to stop seeking answers externally. We need to go within. We need to tune into ourselves. And we need to communicate clearly, not just with others, but also with ourselves. Now, one of the main things coming to me about this video was to talk about false positivity and relationships. Because, over the last year or so, I've been speaking with many, many people. And, we'll start with the positivity aspect. If you're on the spiritual path, you'll have heard all of this, think positive and make it so. But it's not just think positive. And there's a lot of people getting very frustrated and angry and losing faith in themselves and in the divine because of a misunderstanding and a misinterpretation about thinking positive and drawing vision boards. You see, it's not about thinking positive. It's about feeling positive. And there's so many people have been calling me and they're so frustrated, and it's like, and I am being positive and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And it's like, okay, because for me, I'm empathic. I feel. I don't just hear people's words, and often people's words completely contradict what people are feeling. So I'm interacting with many people who are so full of love and light and positivity in their heads, but they're not dropping down and connecting into their hearts. And they're getting frustrated because they're not seeing the results they expect. Because I'm thinking positive, I'm doing all the positive things. But you see, if you're doing them in the frequency of anxiety, frustration, and from a place of feeling the lack of, if you're not feeling the positivity of what you're trying to put out there, if you're not actually living in the frequency of the experiences that you wish to attract, law of attraction brings you what you're feeling instantly, like with the magnets that I showed in a previous video. And the magnets flipped over. We can't force them together. They're just polarities. Some ways they repel each other, but in correct alignment, they snap together powerfully. So if you're trying to be positive, but you're feeling a negative emotional hurricane of emotions, you're completely obliterating all your positive intentions, because the universe, the divine, God, whatever your personal belief is, the one, it answers us, but it answers our frequency. So we really need to start paying attention. How do we feel? And again, I know I'm banging on the same drum again, but we've become so disconnected from ourselves and how we feel. We've become so frightened of our feelings that we're really just sabotaging ourselves. And until we're willing to face ourselves and face our feelings and acknowledge how we truly feel about everything, be it family, romantic relationships, jobs, where you live, any number of things, until we actually sit, breathe, and acknowledge how we feel about all the various aspects within our lives, we're just going to keep attracting more and more stress and anxious situations, because most of us are feeling stressed and anxious. And a lot of the time, we're not even aware of it. I've had conversations with people who are, oh, I practice self-care. Every Friday I fill a bath and I have a glass of wine and I'm looking after me. Wow, that doesn't feel like self-love to me. And I appreciate that people are doing the best to give themselves a little bit of self-care. But for me, self-care, it's taking a little bit of time, putting on some music, maybe lighting some candles, things that make me feel good. Put on some music and then breathe and sway to the music. Close my eyes and just let my body move as it pleases, as I just breathe in the music and allow it to flow through me. That feels good. That's self-care. Can you feel the difference? So many people think self-care is, I go for a walk every night. Yes, I take time for me. It's my time. As they march the streets. My time. And all the time feeling resentful and angry about what's going on at home or at work. They're still carrying the frustrations with them. Well, not everybody, but you know who you are. You can feel it as you're hearing this message. And if walking is the self-care of your choice, well, next time you go for your walk, do it consciously. Don't do it I'm taking this time for me, in the angry, frustrated frequencies. You may leave the house like that, but take a moment, pause, and breathe. Nobody needs to know. We can breathe deeply with people around, with people driving by or walking by, and nobody needs to know. It's such a simple process. It's our life force energy. It is our God-given right, the power, the breath of life. We've forgotten how to use it. So, when you're going for your walk, if you're leaving the house after a row, or whatever the circumstances, when you finally get that time for you, time to nurture and nourish your soul, don't waste it replaying the arguments you just left at home or at work. Take conscious breaths. 3 generally works. Nobody will even know you're doing it. And this is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. This is a gift you can give to yourself. And take as many breaths as you need. You can do this while you're still moving and walking. And as you feel yourself come into yourself again. Because that breath, that life force energy, it cleanses us. And when we do it consciously, and consciously exhale all the stress and frustration with our out breaths, while breathing in our own life force energy, our own divinity, we literally transform quite magically. Then you appreciate your walk. Then you're in a better space, a better headspace. It allows your head and your heart to connect once again. It allows you to appreciate, oh yeah, this is my time. This is my half hour that I get to walk, or my hour, whatever it is for you personally. And instead of marching down the road going, my time, my time, my time, you're actually embracing it in a completely different frequency of, this is my time. I love getting out for a walk. It feels so much different. And when you return, look at even walking in temper, you do feel better because movement dispels and disperses that stagnant energy. That's why exercise is so important for us. Any kind of movement, it helps move excess stagnant energy. And it's good, it disperses aches and pains because a lot of that stagnant energy, if not moved, eventually gets harder and harder and becomes knots in the muscles, becomes tension in the body. So movement is important. So yes, storming down the road in temper, yeah, it is releasing some of that energy, but it is vital. And think of that word vital, vitality. To have vitality, it is vital that we breathe, and we breathe properly, that we fill our lungs. Most of us have been in survival mode for so long that we've developed a habit of shallow breathing. And there are so many people that I come into contact with, whether by phone or passing on the road. And again, it's like, so stressed, and it's like, okay, take a breath. Yeah. And even when you're asking somebody to take a breath, yeah, I'm breathing. They're not even aware. Or you'll get the smart answer of, if I wasn't breathing, I'd be dead. But we're keeping ourselves in that stressful, in that anxiety, in that heavy frequency of tightness and burdensome feeling energies. It's not pleasant. And the simple act of breathing can help to release and disperse a lot of that tension, allowing you to truly appreciate and enjoy the time that you managed to carve out for yourself, for self-care, for self-nurturing, for revitalizing yourself. Just sit with that for a moment and ask yourself, when you are practicing your self-care, are you being loving with yourself? Or are you snarling at yourself the whole time, criticizing yourself as you march down the road? Replaying conversations, thinking you should have said something different. Just let it go. Just breathe. Let it go. Surrender and release. The past is gone. We cannot change it. But we can take the lessons. We can grow. And breathing is the key to it all. Now they're asking me to move on to relationships. And this is the one I haven't wanted to touch, not with a 10-foot barge pole. But you see, all of this ties in also with relationships. So often we get so caught up in our partners, our family members, our work colleagues, our neighbours, our friends, whatever. We get so caught up in other people's journeys, like what other people are doing, what other people are saying. We get angry on behalf of other people. We get outraged on behalf of other people. I experienced it myself sometimes when I ended up having to move here. You know, it was difficult circumstances. You know, I didn't have an awful lot of choice. And yet, when I'd be sharing my experience of the house hunting, etc., with some people, they'd become outraged on my behalf and, you know, shouldn't be like that, or it should be this, should be that, or different things going on, or problems within the medical system. And, you know, I've learned to look at things and appreciate what I can and let go of the things I can't control or change. And it really struck me how many people were getting angry and upset on my behalf over things that really had nothing to do with them. And it's like, hang on, if I can be at peace and come to terms with things that are happening in my life and my path, there's no need for you to be getting angry and upset and enraged about the injustice or the unfairness of, do you know, the world, business, bankings, hospitals, whatever. Why would you do that? And especially if me, the friend or family member or colleague, whatever, isn't that bothered. Do you know? And people would actually nearly try to create that anxiety for me. And it's like, no, thank you. I appreciate the sentiment. I appreciate that you care about me. But I'm becoming more and more aware it's not about me. This is people perceiving me and my life through their own lens of perception, looking at my situation through their lens of perception and reacting and responding in ways that they would react and respond if they were in my shoes. But they're not. We each have our own journey. We each have our own path to walk. And we need to stop focusing on other people's journeys because it's none of our business. Even partners. I've spoken to a lot of people in relationships. And, you know, they start out in these wonderful relationships. They're, you know, being their authentic selves. And over time, you know, the relationship grows and develops. And before you know it, one or other or both are so busy trying to be the perfect partner, the perfect, you know, wife, girlfriend, daughter in law, brother in law, husband, you know, trying to fit a role, trying to fit various different roles. And then they start to change, they start to lose their own authenticity. Then they start focusing on their partner, on what the partner's doing, where are they going, why aren't they here? And instead of just reaching for things that make them feel better by, okay, well, they have to work late. It is what it is. You can't change it. But in that moment, you have a choice. You can sit there seething because your partner has had to work late or has gotten delayed, or you can just go and do something that you enjoy. And I've noticed with some people, you know, there were patterns developing. Sometimes it's other family members, the partner, there were family crises going on. And yes, I know if you have plans with your partner that you're looking forward to them and something happens, a curveball comes, it can be upsetting. But you know, family is important to us all. And when family needs us, we tend to go and help. And having a partner get angry and frustrated at that for doing a wonderful, kind thing for loved ones in need, what's the point? What does that serve? It doesn't change the fact that it's happening. So the person that is left at home ranting and raving doesn't feel too good. Yeah, why do we do that? I know I've been guilty of things like that in the past too. And although I might feel that start in me sometimes, if there's, a plan goes awry, I'm learning to catch myself now and go, no, it is what it is. Can't change it. I've spent enough years being angry, frustrated, and resentful about things not working out. Sometimes that's just life. Not everything does work out. But I understand now that I get to choose. Do I spend the whole day or the rest of the week or the next month ranting and raving over that one thing that upset me? Or do I just go, don't like it, doesn't feel too good. Okay, I'm going to go look for something that does feel good. Whether that's putting on music, watching a movie, watching a cartoon sometimes works for me. It doesn't matter what you do, as long as it's something that feels better than being stuck in that angry, resentful energy. And another thing about the relationships is we take our focus off our journeys because we feel, oh, we're partnered up now. But a healthy relationship, a real healthy relationship, it's not about two people come together walking one path. It's about two souls walking their own paths, but in harmony together. And yes, sometimes the frequencies might, dip, ebb, and flow. It all comes like everything in life, everything in the universe is all its cycles and rhythms. But a true healthy relationship is two souls who agree to walk their journeys, but they're separate journeys, but in harmony together. And sometimes that means the paths drift a little bit in and out because sometimes we have other desires, we have other dreams. And like I've witnessed so many couples over the years, and it's both men and women, both are guilty of these behaviors where it's like, well, what do you mean you're going to do what you love to do? What do you mean you're going golfing? You can't go golfing. We want to do this. But why should your partner have to give up something that lights them up, something that gives them joy? We should never be asking our partners to sacrifice joy to please us. And is that rewarding? Think about it. And again, this is not gender specific because it works both ways, different circumstances. One that's bringing to mind that I hear a lot, and again, pandemic aside, women dragging their partners shopping. A lot of them hate it. But they'll go to keep the peace because they love their partner. But inevitably, it's so boring for them. It's so like it crushes their soul to have to do it. But they'll do it because they love you. But eventually, it wears them down. And shop after shop, dressing room after dressing room, eventually it just wears them down and they get irritable. And then what happens? We, the women, then start going, we get irritable because they're looking at their watch, because they're not here. We're not having the wonderful shopping experience that we imagined in our minds. We're skipping along going, oh, isn't this lovely? We're happy partners. The truth is, we'd be better off just going shopping on our own or calling another friend who enjoys shopping the same thing and allow our partners to go do something else with their friends or family that lights them up. And again, with the lads, sometimes is it dragging the wife to the pub to watch the match? Sometimes she'd really rather stick up pins in her eyes. But yet, why do we do it? Because society has told us, if you're in a partnership now, you must sacrifice and you must do things to please each other and make each other happy. But if you think about it, rather than having people resentful, forcing and coercing partners to do things that you want to do, then begrudgingly going even though you don't want to, and then nobody's happy. It always ends in disaster and you end up having rows and wishing you hadn't gone. Would a more better feeling option, a more sensible option be, well, today this would really light me up and that would light you up. Why don't we go do the things that would light us up? And then when we come home and have dinner together or share our evening together, then we have wonderful things to talk about. Then we're happy to see each other. Then we're in that wonderful feeling space, having had a good day, doing the activity or thing that lights us up. Then we share our meals with each other, and we share the wonderful experiences we've had throughout the day. Doesn't that feel so much nicer than forcing your partner, dragging them around with you, doing things that they don't want to do? And that takes away from the enjoyment of the very thing that you really wanted to do. Think about it. And yet, that's how most of us behave most of the time. Once we become into relationships, and it's not just romantic relationships, sometimes it's friendships. You're my friend, you must do this. You're my friend, you can't meet those other people without me. Why not? Do you know, none of us have the right to dictate to any other soul how they live their lives, even our own children. Yes, we have a responsibility. Our responsibility is to raise them, to keep them safe, to teach them how to be. To teach them how to be in this world without coming to any physical harm. And yet most of us are enforcing our will on them. So many of us try to enforce our dreams, our hopes and wishes. We try to live the lives we didn't get to live through our children. And really, our main responsibility is to let them be. We are human beings. We have come here to be. We each have our own individual journeys. And yes, we are here to encourage, support, be kind to each other. And a lot of us have been conditioned to do the opposite, to judge, to tear each other down, to control, to demand, to seek that other people make us happy. But you see, happiness comes within. And when you become happy, when you learn to love yourself, when you are happy in your own company, everything else in your life improves, including your relationships. You're not sacrificing so much. You're not trying to be somebody you're not. You're not trying to fit a role that is not you. You are being you. And when you do that, people love you for who you truly are. And if we could just practice surrendering some of that control, if we could just practice recognizing that somebody else can never, ever make us happy. Yes, they can make us happy for a little while in relationships, the honeymoon period. You know, because it's that thing of that flush of, oh, I've met somebody so wonderful. Okay, I'll move things around, I'll push that back, you know, so we can spend extra time together because it's so wonderful. But eventually, you see, those things have been pushed back, catch up, they build up, it becomes a problem. And then what happens? As soon as, you know, it's generally the first person, whether it's the male or the female, doesn't matter. And again, same-sex relationships, doesn't matter. Eventually, one person has to step back because other responsibilities in life build up. But that leaves the partner who hasn't been called away first feeling resentful. Again, it's back to cycles, ebb and flow. Ebb and flow. And relationships work in cycles. We have times of wonderful flow and it feels fabulous. And if we can just understand, and I think is it the universal law of rhythm that covers cycles, we can understand that when the flush and flow of that wonderful honeymoon period begins to ebb because of the responsibilities in life come up and scream to be dealt with, somebody has to step back and deal with those things. So instead of taking that personally and going, you don't love me anymore, you're not spending time with me anymore, and creating a drama that doesn't even need to exist, if we were to just try and take a breath and recognize that, wow, Isn't it wonderful that that person who I just love spending time with put off all of those important things for so long just to spend time with me? And I know once they sort that out now and get the backlog cleared, we can do that again and we can have some more quality time. But instead, we end up poisoning our own relationships by allowing our own insecurities to start building on that. And again, I have witnessed both men and women behaving in this manner, feeling resentful that the attention has been taken away, that the focus has been taken from them and put back on work, family, whatever other life responsibilities we have. It's like we have to stop doing that to ourselves. We're driving ourselves demented. It's not good for us. And it serves no purpose. But again, if we go back to the message that the angels keep on giving me repeatedly, sometimes I get sick of banging the same drum. But I'm beginning to understand. Sometimes, although we know things, because we're not feeling, we're not even aware, we're not applying what we know. And that is why the angels are continuing to repeat messages, give the same message over and over, and it will be repeated until it is finally heard, received, and understood. And I'm here not to tell you what to do. I'm just the voice box. I have not mastered all of this, but I am practicing it, and I am witnessing amazing changes in my life as a result of it. I'm a much happier person since I've started understanding and learning to let things go and stop taking things personally that often have nothing to do with me. Do you know? Life gets busy sometimes, and it's the same with friendships. I have wonderful friends because we understand that sometimes life gets so busy. Doesn't mean I'm not thinking of them or they're not thinking of me. It's just there's not enough time in the day to be sending text messages or making phone calls because of other things that need tending to, that can't be put off. But when we do get in touch, it's just wonderful to hear from each other. There's none of that, oh, well, stranger, long time no see, haven't heard from you in ages, laying on the guilt. That's not healthy. And I, for one, I don't tolerate that in relationships anymore. And like I said, I'm truly blessed now. I have lots of wonderful connections and relationships with wonderful people who don't treat me like that because we've matured. We're not little children anymore. Yes, we all have that inner child within, that wounded little boy and girl. That child that didn't get certain needs met when they were younger. But it's time for us to start acknowledging that child. It's time for us to nurture our own inner children. It is time for us to realize that we alone are responsible for our own happiness. And I know many people, they just see Amanda's face, Amanda's voice, and they get very annoyed. I know I'm triggering people. See, what you're forgetting is this isn't coming from Amanda. It is Amanda's voice. It's Amanda's face. But Amanda is a channel. These messages are coming soul to soul. These messages are coming in answer to prayers that many of you watching have asked and sent out. Having struggles with your relationships. And you're blaming your partner. If she would just do this, if he would stop doing that, if he, she, if he, she, he, she. It's always the other person. But it's time to look within. And again, the mirrors are coming again. Here they go with the mirrors. Again, mirror work. Looking yourself in the eye with the help of a mirror. Learning to love yourself. Talk to yourself. Treat yourself like your best friend. Love yourself. Offer the same kindness and compassion to yourself that you do to your own loved ones. All that love you have to offer your partner, that you get frustrated because you feel it's not being reciprocated. Because again, they're tending to other necessities within life. And you're taking it personally. You're choosing to see it as rejection. When actually, it's part of your existence, it's part of your reality. You know, there are so many women who are enraged that their husbands are working such long hours while they're enjoying the fruits of those hard labours. And they want more and more things, and they want a new car, and they want a holiday home. And the husband wants to please the wife, so he works even harder and harder. But then the wife is getting angry and resentful, going, "You're never here." And sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes it's the stay-at-home dad. And the wife is the one out. Again, swap the genders. You know, our souls don't even have genders. Do you know, we're both masculine and feminine. And we need to stop making ourselves different, because we aren't really any different. And I'm witnessing these behaviours in both men and women. I am also guilty of these behaviours. But the lessons that are coming through, they're important, and they do make a difference. But it requires us to take accountability and responsibility for the choices that we're making. And most of us are choosing to take offence when there is no offence meant. And we've gotten so caught up in this frequency, in the heavier, denser frequencies, that we're losing the ability to communicate and connect. Very few of us look each other in the eye anymore. And as I mentioned already, so few of us are in tune with how we feel. We've distanced ourselves so much from how we feel. And if you don't know how you feel, how can you expect your partner to know how you're feeling? And you know, we're not mind readers. But do you know what? We are emotional readers. That is our natural default setting. We can actually feel each other. That is our primary form of communication. But you must take accountability. You must do your own work. You must learn to love and accept yourself. For it's only when you truly offer yourself that unconditional love that you wish to offer to everybody else in your life that you love. If you can't offer to yourself, you're not truly offering it to them. Oh, you think you are. But that's not unconditional love. That's conditional love. That's, I'd be happy when you do what I want. I'd be happy when you behave this way. But it's time that we just start accepting each other for who we truly are. And make our choices, make our decisions about who we choose to surround ourselves with and spend most of our time with, based on proper, harmonious compatibility. But instead, we try to force people. We've been conditioned to look only at physical features or material aspects when choosing partners, or even friends sometimes. And actually, the most important thing is compatible frequency. Are our energies harmonious? And again, we can't figure that out until we go within, until we do our own work, until we go inside. The practice of self-love is the most important practice of all. And we do that by breathing consciously and tuning in to how we feel. Because when you are aware of how you feel, you are in control. Think about that. Most of us are panicked. We're stressed, we're frightened because we feel so out of control. It feels like everything around us is out of control. And the fear builds, and we get so entangled and enmeshed in all of those heavier frequencies. But the truth is, you can control it because you control yourself. But you have to choose it. You have to choose. Do you want to feel peaceful and happy? Or do you want to continue the way you have been? And again, this isn't about criticizing the way you have been. We have all developed survival techniques in order to survive, to get us to the right here, right now. Love those parts of you, but recognize that those behaviors and attitudes, they no longer serve you anymore. You're not that frightened little boy or girl anymore. You're an adult. You have the ability to tune into yourself. You have the ability to recognize when it's that little girl or little boy aspect of you, that wounded child or wounded teenager or wounded younger adult aspect of yourself. Because a lot of the time, we're having arguments and conflicts with others. It has nothing to do with them at all. It's just something has happened that has triggered an old memory, an echo of the past, and all of those emotions come flooding up. And it's like, I was fine till you did that. But it's never anything to do with other people. There is no law of assertion. People don't assert their energy onto you. You choose whether you receive those frequencies or not. And if it's not active and alive, if those frequencies are not active in your vibration, you're not going to respond to them. You're not going to have that same emotional charged response. It's more of a reaction. And sometimes we see it as an involuntary reaction. Like my blood boiled. It's one expression that springs to mind. But again, nobody else can boil your blood. You're choosing it. You're choosing to take offense. You're choosing to be angered by whatever you're witnessing or experiencing. But you could also choose to just go, I'm not liking this. I'm off to do something that feels better for me. It is that simple. But most of us won't do that because, oh, I don't want to be rude. Or what would they think? What would they say about me? All that judgment. And again, back to earlier on in this conversation. The only real judge is yourself. People can say and do whatever, but you choose whether you receive it. You choose how you receive it. And you choose whether you react or you respond. And once again, I have not mastered this. But when I feel myself reacting, sometimes a few words might fly out, but then I'll catch myself and it's like, this doesn't feel too good. This is all too familiar. And I choose not to live like that anymore. So I will literally, I take my hand and I literally unhook those frequencies and go, I no longer receive that. I'm off to do something that feels better. And then when I'm less emotionally rocked and charged, when I find my equilibrium again, after whatever experience has triggered that emotionally charged reaction within me, when I'm centered again, then I will make contact and I will try and communicate. Because I'm aware that that's my stuff bubbling up. It's not the other person's fault. A lot of the time, it's like, thank you. Because had you not done that, I wouldn't have recognized that that is still alive and active within me. And once again, that spiral of healing. Because sometimes we think healing is simply a circle, and we've gone full circle. But when it comes to the healing of inner wounds and those frequencies, the childhood wounds, it's a big, big spiral. And we can come full circle, but then it dips down. And there's another layer that we may not have uncovered. And once you start becoming aware of that, it gets easier. You know, sometimes, yeah, you have to feel those icky feelings, but not for long. You get to choose. But you see, when you feel them, you acknowledge them, you go, I see you. You're still active there. But you know what? I don't like this frequency. And I choose not to engage with this frequency anymore. And I release it. And I will breathe and let go of that, whatever it is that doesn't feel right. Because anything that feels it go off in your system is your own soul letting you know there's a better perspective, there's a better way, there's a better option. Take your focus off it. Because you know what? You also have free will to choose. Keep your focus on it. Keep retelling that tale. Keep replaying that terrible scene in the movie of your life. And you can rage and rant and feel angry and frustrated. But really all that does is sabotage your own journey. Because the longer you do that, the more energy you're putting in to those frequencies, thereby emitting those frequencies that you do not desire. And boom, law of attraction brings it to you. And this message is going to be repeated until it finally sinks in. We have to start taking responsibility and accountability for our own emotions, for our own behaviors, our own attitudes. So the question you need to ask yourself, do you want to continue as is? Does it feel good? And if it doesn't, ask yourself, what would feel better right now? And just go do that thing. Stop expecting partners, family members, friends to be the source of your happiness. Nobody can take on that burden. Nobody should have to take on that burden. Nobody is responsible for your happiness but yourself. And you see, when you learn to love and accept yourself, when you learn to offer all that love that you have to give, when you learn to offer that love to yourself, when you love and accept yourself, you start to feel good. And see, when you're feeling good, law of attraction brings you so much more, so many more experiences that feel good. And you see, that's the key to manifesting. The false positivity, the thinking positive while feeling frustrated, feeling the lack of, feeling irritated, trying to pretend to be, oh, there you are, I'm so happy to see you, but I really want to throttle you because you haven't been home and you're 2 hours late and the dinner's ruined, but I'm going to be positive because being positive works. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. You're sabotaging yourself. And you need to go in and face those emotions that you're constantly trying to suppress behind the false positivity. You have the power to change your life. You have the power to choose to be happy. Because when you start feeling better, when you start really loving yourself, when you start accepting yourself, when you start being happy within yourself, that's the frequency you vibrate at. And then the universe, the law of attraction, it cannot fail but bring you all of your desires. All feel good things will come to you, but you have to actually feel good. Painting on a smile and pretending to be happy and positive while raging and having an emotional hurricane inside, it has to stop. You have to take responsibility and accountability for yourself. And when you do, you will notice miraculous changes in your life. I promise you, this feels better. How do I know this? Yes, I have faith in my guides. Yes, I have faith in my angels. But I had to do this. I'm still doing this. I had to listen to that guidance. I had to put it into practice. I had to start taking accountability from my own emotional shitstorm. Excuse the French. But once I became aware, finally understood, I was the reason I was attracting all of these traumatic, painful, horrific experiences in my life. Because I was so trapped in that victim mode. I was so lost in the frequencies of why me. That's what I was completely and utterly enmeshed in. That's what I was emitting. And it's only true, and again, it's not hard work. I hear it in the spiritual circles. It's hard work. I'm doing the work. But again, no, because that's feeding into those frequencies. It's not hard work. It's actually quite simple, but it does take practice and dedication. And do you know what? It's not actually that hard. Because once you learn to love and appreciate yourself, you realize that you're worth taking a few minutes here and there to take a breath. You are worth giving yourself some self-love and self-care. It is worth going out for that walk and consciously breathing as you do so that you enjoy it, so that you can milk that good feeling experience for all it's worth. Don't taint that beautiful experience that you've carved out for yourself. That little bit of self-time, don't taint it by continuing to put your focus on the stress that you've just walked away from, be it at home or at work or whatever. Start to value your free time and value yourself enough to want to feel good in those moments, to want to feel good so badly in those moments that you're willing to go, this stuff feels awful. No, thank you. I'm leaving it there. This isn't about ignoring your emotions. This is about being acutely aware. This is about acknowledging how you really feel. And sometimes we cannot change our circumstances. But there are times where we can shelve it. Can you do anything about it right now? No? Well, then there's no point in expending your energy and weighing yourself down by keeping your focus on it and keeping yourself feeling frustrated and powerless. Nothing can be done about it right now. Put it on a shelf and you come back to it when something can be done. And you get busy doing what feels better, doing what makes you feel good. And I hear so many people go, oh, I don't have time. But yet, remarkably, they seem to watch every soap opera going. Now, each to their own. If they give you joy, watch them. I'm taking soap operas as an example. I used to watch nearly all of them myself. I think it started with Neighbours at 5, Home and Away at 5:30, or was it 6, whatever, then Emmerdale, Carnation Street, EastEnders, the whole shebang. And you know what? Eventually I realised they're all so full of drama. They're all so full of the very frequencies that I'm actually trying to escape from. So I chose, do you know what? I don't want them in my life anymore. I think I hung on to Home and Away for a little bit longer because, sunshine, blue skies, the beach kind of felt better. But even then, some of the storylines, too much drama for me. Didn't feel good. And I just started doing other things that make me feel better. And I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to suggest. Go do the things that make you feel good, no matter what that is. But you get to choose. Don't spend your free time putting your focus on the same feeling frequencies. I know we think, oh, a bit of Netflix and just chill out can work wonders, and it can. As long as you choose to chill out watching something that's going to uplift you, not something that's going to add or feel the same or even more stressful or high adrenaline, that's going to make you tense and tighten up. Just think about that. Start thinking about what is self-care to you. And is it something that feels good? Or is it something you have to take? Because that doesn't feel very good. Yes, you have to make time for you. But make time for you through the frequency of love. Not through anger. Not through an enraged, self-righteous, my time. And yes, sometimes anger can be healthy. Slap on some heavy metal music or heavy, hard rock, something that helps you get that grrr out of your system. Blast a few songs and dance and shout and sing until you release all of that pent-up energy. But then be mindful and switch it. Take your dial and switch it to something more uplifting. Something that lights you up. Because that is the secret to a happy life. These are coping mechanisms that I have learned, and they really work. My guides have been prompting me constantly, and they're often prompting me with stuff that I already know from various workshops or courses over the years. But just because I know it doesn't mean I'm always applying it. And there are lots of days I sit here and, like, Archangel Michael is one of my best friends. But there are days I literally say, heck off and leave me alone. I don't like what you're telling me. Because sometimes I just want to be angry and annoyed about whatever's going on. But he keeps at me. He doesn't take offense when I do that. He doesn't judge me. Because do you know what? Spirit doesn't judge us. See, that's something else we have to stop doing. We have to stop then with that self-criticism. When we find ourselves getting lost in an emotion like anger or frustration, when we catch ourselves, appreciate, acknowledge that you've caught yourself, acknowledge that you've caught yourself quicker than ever before, acknowledge and praise yourself for the fact that you've recognized you were getting tied into those frequencies, but you're choosing to step back. Acknowledge that wonderful awareness that you have. Acknowledge the power within you to choose to change. That power that comes in that moment of awareness when you realize, hang on, I'm losing the rag here. This doesn't feel too good. I don't want to feel like this anymore. Oh, I can let this go. Just need to breathe. I just need to let it go. And then the calm comes. That's such a powerful experience. And each and every one of you is powerful. You are filled with power. And you get to choose that energy flowing through you. Do you want to focus it into the heavier, icky frequencies that you don't like? Or do you want to catch yourself and go, see what I'm doing there? No, I don't want to sabotage myself anymore. I want to be happy. I want to feel good. Because that is available to you at all times, no matter the external circumstances. You can choose to let it go. You can choose to breathe. And when you do so, solutions always come. Answers always come. Because when you are in that calm, centered state of alignment, everything that you require is always available to you. Law of attraction never fails. But it is your responsibility to keep lifting yourself out, to choose to stop focusing on drama and things that actually have nothing to do with you. Your own path, your own journey, and the power is yours. And they're asking me to shuffle another card. I'm not sure why, because I think I've been waffling on long enough. I was hoping this would only be 10 minutes, 20 minutes, but hey, here we go. I obviously have one last thing to say before I go. Okay. What is it you wish to close this reading with? Sorry, a chunk fell and they told me not to lift them, but I'm going to have a quick look anyway. All right, so okay, we are going to take it. The one that I really felt, and the one they're saying is important, is the spiritual growth one. But what jumped out in the clump is miracles, focus, and soulmate. So again, it's about the way I'm going to do this. You're a miraculous being. Miracles card. This is like Archangel Raphael's card. Again, full of beautiful green healing energy. And if you look at this angel, she's sitting within a magical fairy ring. Look at that divine light. It's on her fingertips. Her wings are perched. Again, beautiful blue robes. Again, all about the communication, the throat chakra, communication needing to be done. But again, she's sitting in that ring of light. That power is there. But again, this binding around the solar plexus, this tightness, the fear that's holding her back. It's like, stop doubting. Look at all that's available to you. It's all at your fingertips. And again, where is your focus? This card often comes up, for people that have been abused and broken and fallen off their soul's path. Look at the broken wing. Look at all the binding on the arms. And, this card often represents somebody who really has been through the mill, been through hell and back. But the beautiful ring of roses, for me, this is, the Virgin Mary. This is that beautiful, nurturing mother frequency. It also reminds me, makes me think of Mother Earth. And again, this circle, everything is linked, everything, the flow within life. It's all this circular energy. And again, the divine light. So again, this halo, there's a little crown on, but it's an open one, and it's only made of flowers. So again, the head things, the thoughts that are getting caught up and, holding you back, all the binding around the chakras here. It's like, it is time to free yourself. It is time to surrender yourself. That halo of light, the divine, the frequencies, they are coming in. And again, the soulmate card, this is tying into the relationships. Where's your focus? Don't particularly like this card. It's the childlike energy. They're not grounded. The feet are covered. There's darkness. But in the distance, you can see that wonderful fairy tale castle. So the happy ever after can be yours. But you have to heal. And again, okay, sorry. The card, so childlike. It's the little boy and the little girl. Most of us, we're adults. We're grown-ups in relationships. Whether they're romantic or whatever, just all relationships. We're grown-ass adults. Well, we behave like children because we're not acknowledging how we feel. We're not tending to that wounded inner children. And so, and again, look at all this blue, communication. It is time to communicate. It is time to express how you truly feel. It is time to be honest. And if something really shrivels your soul, to do it for your partner, be honest about it. Not in a nasty and aggressive way where you're going, oh, you made me do this, so you're... No, you choose to do that activity with your partner, even though you feel your soul shriveling up inside. Take responsibility for that. And talk to your partner. Communicate. I really love you, but I have to be honest. I shrivel up inside every time I do X, Y, and Z with you. So I'm thinking, when you do that, I know you love it and I know it lights you up, so I don't want to stop you doing the thing you love. So how about from now on, you go do that, and while you're doing that, I'm going to do ABC. Whatever that is, that gives you pleasure. Communicate. Stop behaving like children. It is time to grow up, to become who you were truly meant to be. And that's where the humdinger, the one that popped, the spiritual growth card. Look at that card. Look at her. Look at those feathers. Look at the divine gifts dripping from her fingers. Look at that divine light pouring down onto her. Look at all the binding. She's at the top of the mountain. She has overcome so many obstacles, so many challenges. Like, she has conquered. She has reached the summit. The binding is falling away. She has earned her wings. And those wings, oh my God, they are perched. They are ready. She is ready to fly. And that is there for each and every one of you. Again, there's still a little bit of binding there. But all of these gifts, see all these gifts? This divine light energy is available to each and every one of us. This is spiritual growth. But you have to take accountability. You have to take responsibility for yourself. And again, it's not work in the sense of, oh, the terrible effort. This is about feeling good. This is about being happy. Is that not something wonderful? Why do we see it as, oh, the work, oh, the effort to be happy? It's not. It just takes a little bit of practice. It takes facing, it takes courage. It takes having the courage to face yourself. But we are all experiencing spiritual growth right now. It's a powerful experience. And you will be amazed when you really, really look yourself in the eye and learn to love and accept yourself. The happiness and the joy that comes with that is just incredible. And there are so many people who are aware of this now. And I promise you, start making the effort for yourself. Start giving yourself the gift of true self-care. Offer yourself unconditional love. You have to love yourself first and foremost. Sorry, I've just got a massive, I don't know, it's like a giant palpitation or something. Something just popped in my chest. This is big, but you must drop into the heart. Come out of the head and into the heart. Connect the two. Connect your emotional intelligence. Tune into it. Your emotions are so important. Your emotions will help you to achieve all of your dreams and desires, because when you're acutely aware of how you feel, when you can acknowledge how you feel, when you start to choose and understand in your spiritual growth and understand that you have this power, you have the strength. Look at all you've overcome. And miracles can occur. You have the power. It's all at your fingertips right now. You just have to believe in yourself. You just have to trust yourself. You have to have faith. You can do this, and you are supported every step of the way. There are so many people whose hearts are opening and blossoming. There are so many people who are aware now. Just trust. People are learning to follow their impulses. All the guidance and support you need will be provided for you. Have faith. Trust. All will work out for you. But you must look to yourself. You must look within. And you must learn to love yourself. Thank you. Sorry. They're letting me they're letting me go now. I trust that whatever's just flowed is what you need to hear. I hope this helps. And again, if it does, please like and subscribe. If you feel these messages could benefit anybody else that you know, please do feel free to share them wherever. Although I'm not still not comfortable with this being seen malarkey, I do understand that these messages are important. These messages matter. And thanks to some of the feedback I've gotten from many of you, I know they're making a difference, and I know they are helping. So if it's helping you, please do share it so that they can help others. because people are ready. You are ready. It's time to shine. You will be supported. You are safe. You are loved. And you are taken care of. But it's up to you. You have to feel it. You have to believe it. And then you will see it. It's called having faith. And I have faith now. And I promise, if you practice these little things, if you practice them regularly, you will start to love yourself. You will start to choose to do these things for yourself more often because you start feeling better and better. And as you start feeling better, your life gets better. Just take practice. Simple practice. You've got this. See you all again soon. Thank you for your time. Take care.